Greetings and salutations. I'm starting this, and in my mind, I'm wondering, is this going to be something I actually end up posting? I have no real goal or end point here. But I know it's been a while since I've been on, like the holidays, and then I was sick last week, pretty bad. They were concerned I had pneumonia, which fortunately I think we caught it before it could turn into pneumonia. So been recovering from that and just been busy, right? Busy trying to play the catch-up game after being sick and all that kind of stuff, while also still honoring myself and not trying to push myself harder than I should, just because I grew up in an era where they don't believe in, they don't believe in taking time off if you're sick. But at the end of the day, I have to know that if I were to die, life would go on without me. So why would I not try to prioritize myself and my self-care and all that, right? So a few days ago, I was wondering what I would end up talking about today, if I talked about anything at all today, because the world is like so polarized, and in their feelings, you know what I mean? Like initially I was feeling irritated, and I may say some things in this live that are going to make people have opinions about me that are probably not factual. Like, it's very easy to let our feelings dictate the truth about somebody else, because our feelings, while real, while meaningful, while they matter, are always subjective, okay? I find myself grateful, actually, that I have done some healing and that I'm not fully steered by my emotions anymore. I'm actually very grateful for that. And when I look at the world today and I see the people that think they're making a positive difference or an impact or saving someone, which I disagree, but that's what they think and feel, and understanding where that sense of injustice comes from, that's kind of my initial thought of what I was going to be talking about today. But the person that I am, I question everything constantly. I question my own thoughts, I question my own beliefs, I question what I see, I question what I hear, I question. Like, but is that true? And is there more to this? And, what do I feel, right? What do I feel? And when I say what do I feel, I know I'm sitting here talking about I don't let my feelings control me, but there's a difference between the emotions that you express as feelings and what you feel as intuition. And this is why I've been saying intuition is so important. As these days go on and the world becomes more crazy and the world becomes more polarized, your intuition is going to be the only thing that can really truly navigate you. You know what I'm saying? And this video is not going to be for everybody. This is not going to be one of those, I'm going to be vulnerable, but I'm not being vulnerable in a way where I'm trying to share information or, not that I think I'm a guide, but like I'm not trying to tell anybody how to be or whatever necessarily. You know what I mean? I'm talking about what I see going on in the world. I'm putting my 2 cents in on it, and really that's it. I'm no professional at anything. I've lived my life, I'm living my life. I've overcome a lot of things, and I know that for people with PTSD and possibly undiagnosed things that they can't even get diagnosed because of fucking PTSD. I know that it can be very challenging to navigate just an ordinary fucking day. Okay, let me start there. And so I feel like when the political climate becomes such as it is, that it's a lot easier for those of us who are struggling with these types of things to become a weapon, so to speak. A weapon of an agenda, a weapon of a narrative, okay? And I know that feeling of like that injustice. And I know that that feeling of injustice stems from the injustices we face in our own lives. Okay? I'm just gonna try to have like a real talk today. Like a real talk. I just want people to think. I don't want you to think like me. I just want you to think. I want you to think about what I'm saying and ask yourself if there's any truth to what I'm saying. That's all I want. Okay? So I know when I was in the depths of like my depressions and anxieties, and I had no tools whatsoever with which to navigate PTSD. Okay, I was very much a useful idiot. Okay, I say that lovingly. I'm just saying I didn't know what I didn't know, and my feelings were pure, and my care was strong, and seeing other people suffer was insufferable. Like, I couldn't handle it, okay? And I thought I could go out and be this type of activist and fucking, like, beat my chest and fucking, you know what I mean? I thought my words were going to affect real change, okay? Like, that's in my brain. I thought like everything was on my shoulders, that I had to like somehow be some savior of the world, and I had to make things right because my own internal world was chaos and my own past was chaos and injustice. There was a lot of injustice in my past, you know. I suffered many abuses, none of which were ever resolved through the judicial system. They've only been able to be resolved through myself, and I don't even know how resolved a lot of them really even are, you know what I mean, to be honest. And I just have to learn how to like not necessarily live with it, right? Because I don't think that's a real, like, yeah, you live with it because you don't have a choice. Like, I'm living, breathing, and it happened and whatever, right? But like, you learn how to be accepting of things that were beyond your control, right, wrong, or otherwise, you know what I mean? I literally was just having a conversation last night with this like journal thing that I have that's responsive to you, and talking about the struggle that I have with PTSD and like how people don't fucking understand and it doesn't fucking feel fair. And I have my feelings still where I get frustrated. I have my feelings where shit don't feel fair. Do you know what I mean? But I know that the world don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one cares. I don't get to call in and be like, hey, my PTSD is flaring up and fucking I can't people today. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to do that in the world, which, and in some ways I feel is unfortunate. You know what I mean? But I also have to look at it like this. Like, we can look at the world, I'm gonna be all over the place. We can look at the world through the scope of all these bad things happen. And it hurts me to see it happen. And it hurts me to see people suffering and all of that. And you can live in that world. You totally can. But how is that serving anybody? You know? And what power do you really have to change it? Is you feeling bad about it, making it better? Is you being like run down about it, making it better? You know, is you have like, how is how you're feeling about the situation improving things? And so we feel like we have to try to do these things to bring awareness to issues and certain things like that. And honestly, what I've learned is the best thing I can do is bring my own awareness to my own issues. And all I can do is control me. That's all I can do. I have no control over anything else. No control over anything else. I can control how I respond. I can control how I correct something if I don't respond well. You know what I mean? Those are really the only things I can control. I can't, right now, the guy in front of me who's driving, I can't make him go faster. I mean, I probably could like ride up his ass, but then I'm creating risk, right? Like you can't really control things as much as we'd like to. I really wish that all of humanity would understand that control is an imaginary concept. It is not a real thing. It is not a real thing. Control is not real. Other people can't control you. You can't control other people. You can't control what happens in the world. Even the leaders that are pulling the strings, they don't have full control. They tip a domino to set a certain thing in motion, and they hope that it lands the way they want it to land, and then they mitigate in between to try to get closer to that desired effect, that desired outcome. And if you think that sometimes the wrong outcome doesn't still benefit them, you're mistaken, right? So my initial thought was how I'm grateful that I've healed enough that I'm not being one of these puppets out here having their strings yanked, thinking I have to go out and try to buck up to people that are armed. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just crazy. Like, that's just crazy to me in my mind. Like, I ain't trying to get involved in nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if I was opposed to something, I don't think I would go out and think that I would not become negatively impacted by trying to meddle in legal dealings with armed forces. You know what I mean? And I'm all about rebellion and you know, non-conformity and all that, so don't get it twisted. But I don't think I would put myself in that position, even if I hadn't done the healing work that I have done. I cannot see myself putting myself in that position. And I was just thinking, like, is this where like the mental issues are taking us, really? Like, people are thinking this is a good idea, right? Like there has to be other ways to achieve the desired outcome you're after than letting your feelings make you go full YOLO. You know what I mean? And the reality is, the people that are going full YOLO out there, they don't have a full handle on their mental health. And they don't have a full handle on their emotions. And that's what the fuck is really happening. Okay? You don't have to like something to go die for it necessarily. Like, there are so many other ways and different avenues without putting yourself in harm's way. That's what I don't even understand. And like, it all seems very theatrical to me. It doesn't really make sense. I don't really understand this sudden urge and desire. Because let me tell you, okay, I'm not anti-immigrant. Let's start there before people start phobic this, phobic that. No, go fuck yourself. Okay, I will be friends with anybody. I don't give a fuck. Okay, but here's what I know. Okay, what I know is there are people that are citizens of this country that cannot get their basic needs met, like veterans and shit, people that are homeless, and some of them choose to be homeless, and I know this for a fact. Okay, I've had a family member that was homeless. And I'd be like, why are you on the street? And they're like, because that's what I want to do. Whatever their reason, that's their choice, whatever, right? But there are people like veterans who should not be on the street, who this country has taken and used and abused and fucking threw them away. Okay, and that shit don't sit right with me. Regardless of how you feel about war and soldiers and whatever, that's besides the point. The point is, there are people of our own country that are not getting their basic needs met, and then we have people that are coming here not through the proper channels, okay, which you would not be able to do in any other country. That you can't even get into Canada if you have any kind of felonies or whatever on your record. You can't even get into Canada, okay? But somehow we're assholes because we think people should follow the proper channels. Even people that have migrated the right way are irritated about people that are coming here illegally and then using the resources that an average American can't even get that needs it, right? So there's that factor. So I think about stuff like that, and I used to be one of those people, fucking, what borders are imaginary lines, and I used to be one of those people. Okay, I used to be one of those people. Oh, it's fucking, you're not indigenous, so this isn't your land, and blah blah blah. Like I get it. I've been one of those people. Okay, I've been one of those people. But I've also become a person who understands that the way things have been going isn't fucking working. Okay? And if you're not irritated by the fact that there are people that are coming to this country and then doing fraud so fucking massive, and why is it only people are dying where there's massive fraud? Why is it there's only protesters? Y'all tell me, because I'm truly not trying to be so in it that I'm completely absorbed by it, okay? I already know more than I want to know. And it's not because I don't care. It's not because I don't care. It's not because I don't. It's because as a person with PTSD, I have a threshold of how much shit I can take, of my mental wellness and all of that, okay? We all got our own fucking problems, okay? Fortunately, one of my problems is not me going to some country that I snuck into and I'm benefiting from, but I'm not giving back to it, okay? Fortunately, that's not one of my struggles, okay? But I have my own fucking struggles. And my struggles say that I have to be very choosy about what the fuck I give my energy to. So I don't know what's going on. My algorithm is way off whack. I'm about to just not be on social media for a while because my algorithm is so the fuck. It's showing me shit about like animals being injured and abandoned and trapped and just things again, right? My bleeding heart cannot really handle, okay? Like I can't handle. And me putting myself in a sad sack Eeyore place is not changing any of the shit that I'm witnessing. It's not. Okay? But what can change the fucking shit that I'm witnessing is me pouring into myself, taking care of myself, so that I can be in a place to actually do more. Do you know what I mean? And maybe I don't get to that place in this lifetime. Maybe I spend this whole fucking lifetime fucking babying and nursing my fucking PTSD. Maybe that's the truth in the case. But anyway, I digress. So there's that, right? And then there's many of the people, and I know they're not all criminals, okay? I know that not everybody that comes here to try to have a better life, doing the best that they can, I get it. I'm not saying that they're all criminals, but it sounds to me like there's a lot of motherfucking criminal activity that's coming in illegally, okay? And if we're looking at the world and we're looking at this country and we're like, this shit ain't working, well, maybe we need to kind of politely remove some people that they've been offered money and they've been told, hey, it's better for you if you know you're not here legally to just take yourself back from whence you came, okay? Like, let's not get it twisted. That's the thing. Like, everybody wants to act like me out here acting like, and I get it, dude. I get it. I'm not saying that people's families aren't being affected negatively and whatever, but like, that was a consequence people took when they decided to come here and not follow the proper channels. This is not me being cold. This is not me being cruel. This is me saying this is the way the world works. And you can maybe probably change the way the world works, but that means that you have to channel your energy in a way that's not you going out there YOLOing, okay, all over the fucking ground, okay? Stop YOLOing. I don't know why y'all think YOLO is the answer. It is not the answer, okay? You know what is the answer? Learning law. That's the fucking answer. Why don't you take all that fucking negative, fucking whatever, I call it negative. You think it's positive. It's not positive. When it's controlling you to the point that it's costing you your life, that's a negative in my book, okay? So, y'all could be doing other things, is what I'm getting at. Like, if it really bothers your soul that much, there are other avenues that you could be doing. You know what I mean? And here's the thing that really I'm really stumped on, and please, like, if you have an answer for this, why? And I made a post on Facebook the other day. I'm not going to retract it or take it back because what I said still stands and is still true. But my thing was like, why weren't people acting like this when Obama was deporting people? I'm not going to say that there wasn't some outrage, because I learned after the fact that there was outrage. I don't even remember. Like, there was so not the outrage that's happening now back then that I don't even remember people being outraged about Obama deporting people. Okay? So while we're all getting our panties in a bunch, and this is where my brain goes to, okay? My brain says this is theatrical, and it's not really even so much about the humanity of it, right? It's about Orange Man bad. That's how it's being perceived by the majority of people. Because y'all weren't acting like this when Obama was deporting people. So why are we acting like it now? And here's the real kicker, okay? Which apparently there were people protesting, okay? But they weren't out here being idiots while they were protesting. They weren't throwing their bodies in front of cars thinking, like, I don't know what y'all are thinking. I really do. Y'all's mental illnesses and unwellness, and I'm not trying to hate, because fucking I got my own, okay? But like, y'all shit is getting y'all fucked up. And for what? Because you can't control your emotions. That's why. Like, y'all just want to have outrage, but not funnel it into something beneficial. Okay? And that's really what's separating a lot of people right now, is there are people that are outraged and they're finding ways to use it more efficiently. Like, what are you really stopping? Okay? What are you really stopping by throwing your body in front of a car? What are you really stopping bucking up to an ICE agent? What are you really stopping? Okay? Because if you go and you fact check some shit and you do just a fucking modicum of fucking research, all presidents have deported people. Okay? And on top of that, Obama deported the most. So why weren't y'all out there bucking up to ICE then? It's because the mental illness has gone off the fucking charts. That's why. Number one, you're letting your emotions lead you, and you're thinking that you're being so fucking virtuous and whatever, and you're not. You're kind of being dumb. I'm sorry, but you're kind of being dumb. And I know this is gonna make people have opinions about me. I really don't care, because how can you refute what I'm saying? Obama has deported the most. He is the number one deportation president. He has deported more illegal immigrants, and that's not even counting the ones that left voluntarily under his watch. Okay, he deported 3.1 million. 3.1 million. Okay, people. Do you know how many Donald Trump has deported from his previous term and his current running term? Like, maybe half. Maybe half. Like, he didn't even get to half of what fucking Obama deported in his first term as a president. Okay? But when you have fucking, like, Venezuelan gangs going to Colorado and fucking taking over whole hotels and shit, and trying to fuck our country up from the fucking inside out, You can be mad. You can white privilege, whatever. Okay, I don't have control over the past. Again, control's not even a real fucking thing. I don't have control over the past. Okay, all I know is what is now. That's all I know. What is now. And I've had my whole fucking eat the rich, hate the white man. Like, I've been through all those feelings and things and whatever. Okay, it was part of my like spiritual awakening. Like, I had all that, and then I had a spiritual awakening, and then I just saw the world fucking differently. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that. Okay, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, I realized I want less government in my life. I realized, that we should be more self-reliant. I just realized a lot of fucking things. And so it's hard for me to understand, because from my perspective, the people that are out there bucking up to ICE, like, I don't know what movies y'all been watching that you think you're gonna like leave with your fist in the air and you're gonna have succeeded in the situation. But to me, those actions, they come across as treasonous, because what you're saying is you value the lives of potential criminals. They're all technically criminals, because if you come somewhere illegally, that's a crime. So they're all technically criminals. Technically. Okay? And some of them are really fucking bad. And you think that that's worth putting your life on the line over other citizens of your same country. If you don't like it here, leave. If you don't like the rules, leave. Or actually learn some shit and figure out how to change it the way that you think it should be. Okay? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, there are plenty of like y'all could be doing shit, like y'all could be learning law and finding loopholes or some other fucking bullshit to be saving these people that you think is your job to fucking save, but you don't. Because I'm not trying to minimize people dying, but that's really kind of taking the lazy way in a lot of situations. Unless you have a big giant, because like I used to believe activism was the solution. I used to believe, like, I fell into the whole Bernie movement shit. Okay, I was there for fucking marches and shit, so I'm just saying. Okay, and then I learned that did fuck all nothing. That did fuck all nothing. And I sat and I like literally was spiraling, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what the actual fuck? Like, how the fuck do we make the world better? Like, if that's not the way, if you can't get the person you think is right for the job elected, what the fucking fuck? Okay? Like, what the fucking fuck? And then I realized, like, all I can control is me. And, if the world is really sliding into full fucking chaos, I better learn how to navigate motherfuck chaos. And maybe that's one little fucking extra fortunate badge I have from all the bullshit I've been through, is if there's one thing I know, it's that I can survive motherfuck chaos. In fact, I almost can't even function if it's not fucking chaos. That's how much chaos I grew up in. I almost don't even know how to live in peace. Okay? And it's something I'm having to try to learn and let my fucking nervous system settle and all this fucking bullshit. I'm not out here trying to be anybody's enemy. I'm not out here trying to mock anybody. I'm not trying to... I want people to think. Like, don't you think all this energy... Like, you're not stopping anything. You're not stopping anything. Okay? You going out there dying is not stopping anything. It's not going to change the fact that every president that is ever elected is eventually going to deport some people that came here illegally. Like, y'all have to understand that, right? But I digress. And here's my final point, right? I know it makes me sound conservative, all the shit I'm fucking saying. I know people probably think, she supports Donald Trump. Well, no, you'd be wrong. Okay? Because this bitch don't even vote anymore. Because why would I vote for a leader? I'm not a slave. I don't need to be fucking led. I don't need somebody to tell me how to live my fucking life. And I sure as fuck don't want somebody dictating and passing down some decrees of what the fuck I gotta do. I'm my own fucking person. The only person I answer to, the only thing I answer to is the power that is greater than me. And And that ain't no fucking government, okay? No fucking government. So here's my thought, right? My thought is it's better if we become self-governed. Because the more self-governed we are, the more we can rely on each other in a communal kind of way, and less on a fucking government to try to come and save us. Because anytime a government's trying to come in and say, let me help you, there's always a catch. There's always a string attached. They're not ever helping you because they're just so good-hearted and they want to help you. And I feel like that's evident with the whole like food stamps thing and all the benefits that people get. How is it a benefit that you teach somebody how to be reliant? You know what I mean? How is that a benefit that you never help somebody learn skills or tools or whatever to better their life? That's a failure. That's a failure on the government, and that's what they want. They want you brainless, mindless, not free thinking, not thinking at all, okay? They want you weak. That's what benefits a government. That's what benefits a one world government, okay? And so the best thing I can do to avoid all that is know my fucking rights. My God-given rights. My inalienable rights. And here's the funny thing too. People want to be out here acting like, well, they have God-given rights. Half y'all don't even believe in God. Which is fine. That's your choice. I've been there too. I went through my whole atheist phase. Because of all the pain that I had and the injustice that I saw. And there's no way there could be a God. And I gotta fall on the sword for fucking everybody because I can't stand to see suffering. I've been there. I'm trying to tell you, I've been there. I'm not sitting here talking shit on people and things that I don't fucking understand. That's not the point. It's not the point. So my perspective on it is don't be out here thinking that I'm one way or the other, because I'm fucking not. You'd be wrong. If you were going to label me as any political affiliation, it would probably be more libertarian. And even that, like, I don't want to subscribe to being part of some group. That's how nonconformist I am. Like, I don't even want to fucking be affiliated with anything. You know what I mean? Like, that's Nicole. She's her own person. I'm Nicole Michelle, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Welcome to Stand Yourself. I kind of missed that in the beginning there. Again, I'm not here to be perfect or fucking... I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live. I'm just saying consider what the fuck you're doing, and consider if it's actually working and worth it, and consider if there's not a better option for what it is that you're trying to achieve that's not YOLO.
Can be interrupted at any time.
Bro, that's rude.
The talk button again and
Rude.
saying a command immediately.
Rude.
After the beep, say...
No, stop. I bumped a button. Rude. And so here's the final thought that I'll leave it on. I took a screenshot of a...
No command was heard.
Bruh, cancel.
Press the talk button and say a command.
Can you cancel?
To return to
Because
the
that'd be
previous
great.
screen, press the back button.
Okay, back button. Shh. Stop listening. That's some other shit I don't like. I'll never have Alexa in my house. Ever. No, thank you. Put a tinfoil hat on me before I put Alexa in my house. Like, I know it doesn't matter because I have a phone, but still. One second. Y'all don't need to see all that. I'm getting over a cold still. So yeah, I don't try to be any part of anything. I try to be my own person and think for myself. And the opinions I have are not opinions somebody else is planted there. They're opinions of conclusions that I've come to all on my own. And you don't have to like them or agree with them. But I do know that being lost in your feelings is basically being lost in the sauce. And don't nobody need that in their life. Nobody needs their emotions being so strong that, you know, it's running the show for them. And my whole thing, like, I'm over here, you know, everybody wants to come out now and have an opinion about everything, you know what I'm saying? Because of whatever, because history this, and I don't want my kids to think that I didn't say anything, and, well, why don't you show your kids how to be a critical thinker? And why don't you show your kids how to think about the situations and what's happening? And I mean, don't you want your child to know right from wrong? You want your child to think it's okay for them to just enter a country illegally and take advantage of whatever programs they have? You want your child to be okay with that? Sorry. Sometimes I get mucusy right now, but I don't want to swallow it because that ain't gonna help me none. But at the end of the day, you know, and it's funny because I was having this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and he was like, well, the government and the system, it ain't working. And I said, actually, I would disagree with you. And I said, because the reality is the system is working specifically as designed, which is to conquer and divide. You know what I mean? And so that's part of why I didn't want to get on here and say anything at all, is because I don't want to be a part of the division. And me having the point of view that I have is quite divisive. I'm not sitting here trying to pretend like it's not. But I think at this point we're at a place where anything that you have that's not fucking I'm playing France neutrality is going to be divisive, unfortunately. And so it's just kind of, you know, which sword are you willing to fall on, I guess. The thing is, how come you can have all this outrage now, but not when way more people were deported? That's what I don't. Please riddle me that. Riddle me that. And I'm not saying that there weren't people protesting, because there were, but there weren't people out here losing their lives needlessly, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you could have lived to fight another day. You could have lived to learn some law. You could have lived to learn a loophole for people to be able to stay. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, y'all could have done any number of things, but you didn't. You let your emotions tell you that your place was out there bucking up to ICE. And then here's another thing, too, I'm going to say real quick. Whenever I see a bunch of celebrities starting to jump on the same bandwagon, it makes me question the narrative. Like, whatever they're saying, I question that narrative. You know what I mean? So now there's like celebrities coming out, and so here's my thing too. So here I'm gonna go a little more tinfoil hat for you. I don't trust anybody in Hollywood. They're all bought and paid for. They're all full of shit. They pretend like they care, but they really don't. And if you really pay attention to anything, you would realize that I don't think any political team is holier than thou or the best or whatever, but I think Democrats really truly, I'm sure there's Republicans too, and I'm not a Republican, but I feel like for the most part I've never seen people let their constituents down more than fucking Democrats. And I feel like people tell you who they are, and if you're not paying attention and you're just blindly vote blue no matter who, or vote whatever no matter who, you need to vote for yourselves. Well, that's what the fuck y'all need to do. Y'all need to stop voting for other people to lead you and tell you how the fuck life is, and letting them dictate all the fucking shit that happens. And you need to start picking yourself and focusing on you and taking care of yourself, instead of feeling like it's your job to save people who are perfectly capable of sneaking themselves somewhere illegally. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when did it become our job to tell somebody else how to live or get involved in the choices somebody else makes? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you can't care for people and look out for people. I'm just saying, like, at some point, it's just like when you're on a plane and the plane is crashing, they say, you first. Okay, it's the same thing, you first. So, I don't know. We'll see if I actually post this. We'll see. I'll think about it for a little bit. And we'll go from there. And I just don't want to see people dying needlessly. Like, for what? Like, it's not solving anything. It's not solving anything. You're not changing anything. And maybe down the road it will change something, but why take it to that extreme when there's other avenues and ways that you could try to save people, since you feel like that's your job to save other people? It's not. Like, that's one thing I learned too in my healing journey, is no one's coming to fucking save you. No one's coming to save you. You got to save yourself. And that's true of anybody, regardless of who they are, where they're from, whatever, you know. So just think about that. Are you acting in a spiritual sense? Like, do you really truly feel called to try to interfere in legal matters that have happened with every fucking president and will continue to happen with every fucking president as long as there are people migrating illegally? You know what I mean? Like, does it suck, some of the situations of how and why people are here? Yeah, but maybe we should be paying attention to what's going on. And like, you know, like, and I say this as like people that come from a socialist country, they'll tell you how bad socialism actually is. And it makes me grateful that even though, you know, I was one of those Bernie believers and I was like, yeah, we should help each other and we should whatever and blah, blah, blah. Like, I believed in all that. Like, anybody who knows me knows I was like a hardcore Bernie supporter. And like, I was fucking making my friends go vote and I was doing all this fucking shit. And for what? You know what I mean? For what? For the fucking Democratic Party to fucking show us that our voice really didn't fucking matter. And that was, if you didn't walk away learning that lesson, that it really, your voice really doesn't fucking matter, then I don't know what to tell you. And nothing from that ever changed, and nothing, you know, I don't know. Just the reality is we need to learn the things that those in power don't want us to learn, because that's when we're dangerous. You want to be dangerous? Learn the shit they don't want you to learn. Learn the shit that they keep from you. That's when you're dangerous. So, I love everybody. I don't want to see anybody get hurt or harmed. But life is what life is, and rules are rules, unfortunately, in every country. There's no country that I could go to and just like fucking take up shack and like not fucking go through the process of migrating and then think that I'm gonna get to stay there as long as I want. And for someone to go fall on a sword because I was being sent back to the United States is not something I would ever want. I wouldn't want somebody to do that for me. Let me sort myself out. Let me figure out my shit. Because I'm the only one that can. So, if you can't love nobody fuck else, or if you loving people more than maybe you should, please stand yourself. Kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be loving with yourself. You're the only you there is. And in my opinion, no lives matter, because the vessel, the body is just a vessel. A life is just a vessel. The soul is eternal. And that's the part that fucking matters. And that's where the real battlefield is for the soul. So, we'll see if I post this. Y'all take care. Be good. Be good at it. Learn some law. Become dangerous. That's when you're dangerous. You know, you're dangerous when you become ungovernable. When you don't need somebody to tell you how the fuck to live. When you know the laws better than they do. When you know the law so well that you can take officials to fucking court and sue them. That's when you're dangerous. So, think about that. Love you. Bye.